everybody, Sonia Rollins here for BACC Talk. I'm really excited to bring to you today all things Burlington Mall. You know, I have to say that I grew up in the Burlington area, and the beautiful part is the mall has been a long-standing. We're here with Lauren. Lauren, introduce yourself for the viewing population.
Hi, my name is Lauren Dalis, and I am the Director of Marketing and Business Development for Burlington Mall.
Well, you know what? I love having you here because it is coming into that season for the mall, you know, but honestly, I really think in Burlington, and really almost all malls, every month is the season for the mall because let's talk about Burlington in general. I mean, the Burlington Mall has been here for years. For those of you who don't know, the Burlington Mall was one of the original members for what is now the chamber that used to be the Burlington Roundtable, the Burlington Business Roundtable. So they have been members, you have been members for a long time. We thank you for that. But talk about the mall in general, like what has been going on at the mall as far as revitalization goes on and what we knew from years ago to what we see now.
So, you know, the mall first started out as a one-level mall back when it opened. So Burlington Mall has been through almost a constant transformation since the day it opened.
Yes.
From adding on a second level to now, you know, going through a whole renovation. We've added some beautiful outdoor space. We've added some wonderful restaurants, and we're trying to, you know, also add different entertainment options for people so that they can not just come and shop, but also shop, play, eat, and, you know, recreate with family members and friends.
Yeah, it's, you know, I always tell everybody that I remember the days when the mall was a single level. And then I remember when, and I'll say this, and those of us who've been in Burlington are going to remember, the unveiling of the second floor, they called it fabulous, right? And there were lights and there were all these things. I was a teenager and I thought this is going to be the best thing ever. And when you look at what it was then to now, it's still even gone through it. So it's more than a renovation, it's really a revitalization of what shopping looks like. Talk to me about that a little bit. What the consumer used to do in a mall versus what the consumer does now, like what that looks like.
So, you know, we have a few brands that were actually online brands first that came into the center, like Warby Parker, Joss & Main. So, you know, we really value the whole touch, try, and buy of it all. Like, you know, there are definitely online options for shopping, but you can't, you know, online doesn't offer you the experience that the mall offers. So, you know, you can come meet with friends, come with your family, have nice dinner and drink, shop before, shop after. But we also have things like camp, which opened a few years ago. And camp's an amazing, you know, entertainment option for families with young kids. I know you guys covered that Bluey was there, and it's been so popular. And what's been really great is to see many young families with young children coming for that, and then, you know, staying the whole day and finding different things to do at the center.
So you found, and I love that you say at the center, because you found now that consumers really do this more for shopping. It's more than shopping, It's about an experience to go there. It's something they can do. And talk about that outdoor space that you're saying you have now at the mall.
Yeah, so we, you know, we have an outdoor space that we really utilize mostly in the summer, and we've had some great opportunities to work with the local Burlington Rec Department, where we offer sunset yoga. We've had some salsa classes. We had some children's programming with, and I think we also had some programming with the library. And we hope to bring back even more children's programming next summer. So, you know, we've been able to really utilize that space to bring the community in for, you know, just some fun and experiences, you know, at the center, and not necessarily inside, but also utilizing the outside.
So Lauren, how would people find that out? Like, how would they know if they haven't been to the mall in a while, or they never really realized that there were all of these experiences they could do in addition to shopping, really good shopping, but in addition to that, how else could they, you know, how could they find out what kind of things are going on outside or inside?
There are a few great ways to do so. Follow us on social media. So we have Facebook, we have Instagram, and we also have TikTok now. So we always will post, like, you know, prior to events on those platforms. But we also have a really great bi-weekly newsletter. And if you visit shopburlingtonmall.com, a pop-up will ask you to become a mall insider, and you do that, pick Burlington Mall, and you'll get a bi-weekly newsletter where we always are communicating, you know, the events and upcoming fun things that we have going on, store openings, all of that.
So speaking of which, speaking of all the things that are going on there, let's talk restaurants for a minute, because it's kind of remarkable, right? There are remarkable restaurants that are available to you at the Burlington Mall, but let's kind of just talk about the value of having these kind of restaurants there and what it feels like to be, I mean, you're bringing them in, or you're doing all the marketing for the mall, and you're seeing all of these restaurants. What about the value of having restaurants like that within a community?
You know, the restaurants are wonderful because they make it more of a destination for people.
Yes.
So, you know, my family eats out probably more than we should, but
Don't
you
we
know,
all, right? Yeah.
being able to come to the mall and eat at one of these restaurants, and we have so many different restaurants that offer so many different options at different price points. You know, you can tag on a beautiful meal with your friends and family, and then, you know, come into the center, do some shopping, do some errands, you know, knock some things off of your to-do list, and have it all in one place.
Yeah. Do you find that once upon a time they used to talk about anchor stores, right? The anchors.
Yeah.
We won't hold you to this, but are the anchors the stores or the restaurant, or is it a little bit of both? What's the anchor inside a mall right now?
You know, I think we'll always have anchor stores. Like,
Yes.
you know, your Macy's and Nordstrom are always going to attract people, but the restaurants themselves have also been bringing in a lot of traffic. It's just two kind of different, very different things that, you know, they do the same thing, but I guess in different ways. There's something for everything. There's a restaurant for everybody, I like to say. Like,
Yes.
I truly feel that way. I have a very hard time deciding where to eat at the mall.
I know,
because
right?
there are so many options, and
Yeah.
then, you know, the anchor stores kind of have, you know, something for everybody that, you know, within their four walls.
Do you find that that the ones that have the direct entry, are they coming there because they want to be around all of that? Do you think the direct entry mall restaurants become destination spaces? I mean, do you think that's it, or do you think it's just about location and where they are? Like, when they're coming in and coming to the mall and saying, we want to come to Burlington, how do they choose, or how does the mall choose where someone locates?
There are a lot of different factors that go into that.
Yes.
You know, space availability, you know, the way the restaurant operates. So that's a little bit outside my wheelhouse,
Yes.
but, you know, it really kind of depends on how their business model fits into what we have.
Yes.
I think there's definitely some value of having a mall entrance as well, but it might not work for a certain restaurant for whatever reason.
Right, so everybody has their thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I always find that the pavilion upstairs continues to be vibrant.
Yes.
And that I think is the shopper. I
Yeah.
think the shopper goes and then feels like they want a little something,
Yeah.
and they go there,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I think that part is really valuable. How many stores? Could I ask you that? Do you know that number roughly?
I think we're at about 185. We just opened 2 stores this morning, Aritzia
Wow.
and Vineyard Vines. So those
Yeah.
are 2 really exciting openings right before the holiday season. So we're about 185, I want to say.
It's pretty impressive.
Retailers and restaurants all together.
Yeah, and you know what else I found impressive is like a Crate and Barrel. It speaks to the idea that it's really the entire parcel now. It's not really necessarily just what's inside the 4 walls. You have Crate and Barrel outside.
Yep.
Now I'm going to test my mall knowledge.
Okay.
You have the mall itself,
Yes.
which you've called the center a few times. Is that how you refer to the whole thing, or is that?
I think when I talk about the center, I'm talking about the whole thing. Like, we also have the Village at Burlington Mall, which might be
Speak to that. That's
you
what
were
I was
going
going to
to.
say. Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
Village is incredible. The Village is almost what we would call in the business an out parcel, but the Village has Sweet Green, Cafe Nero, and then quite a few, you know, different businesses that are more so focused on services. There's an eye doctor. There's, you know, Sweat Fix. You might have to check that one.
Yeah.
So the Village has, you know, they have restaurants like Sweet Green.
Yeah.
And Cafe Nero, and then
And it kind of parcels itself off a little bit, which is neat.
And there are some great services there, skincare, tattoo removal. You know,
Yeah.
so it's really interesting what that parcel has kind of become. It's almost more health focused and service focused, which is really neat.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. And it's really interesting because it's no longer, and we said this a little bit at the beginning, but it is no longer you go to the mall just to shop.
Right.
You can actually have services done, you can eat, and you can shop. It's like an all-inclusive kind of a thing. So that's great. Now, speaking of all good things, one of your newer restaurants at the mall is Fiorella's, which we were so excited to go see Fiorella's and kind of visit it, and we're excited to take you in there. Our foodie segment today takes you inside the mall, inside Fiorella's. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, everybody. Sonia Rollins for BACC Talk. Our Chamber Spotlight today takes us to the Burlington Mall, where Burlington's latest and greatest restaurant has arrived. Fiorella's has been open for a few months, and we're excited to take you inside, show you not only the beautiful decor, but the great food they're serving. So I have to tell you, this is so exciting for those of us who've been in the Burlington food world for a long time, because we saw the build-out of Fiorella's. We heard the reputation it had. But talk a little bit about the history of the restaurant first.
So we have been a company since, for 24 years now.
Yes.
Ramon Carrion, the owner, opened his first location in Newton at 23 years old.
So he had a passion for food from the word go.
Correct. They just celebrated their 24th anniversary in Newton, still doing extraordinarily well. We also have a full dine-in Cucina in Concord, and then we are the third full dine-in. We also have 3 trattoria locations.
So that's very interesting. So I didn't even realize that. So you have eat-ins, and there are ones that are just strictly takeout.
There are a few tables on the inside, but it is counter service for the trattorias, and then you have the choice of taking it with you or sitting at a table and enjoying it there.
I love this restaurant, by the way, even in just its actual look. So this one looks different than the others. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Each one of our restaurants has its own personality. This location is a little bit more of an open space, large windows, very bright. We're really excited to be a part of this Burlington area. I feel like we bring something a little bit different. The renovation was
Extensive.
Yes. It took a long time, but it came out beautiful.
You know, let's talk about the food here, how it differs. You know, Burlington has a lot of restaurants, of course, a lot of them fine dining, a lot of them you can get takeout, you can get a lot of different things. What does Fiorella's offer maybe that's something different for the diner in this area?
For the Burlington location, we fit a nice little niche where we are at a lower price point than most of the fine dining restaurants in town. There are plenty of steakhouses, plenty of high-end Italian French cuisine. We are on the lower end for full dine-in, and with a beautiful restaurant, I feel like we are built for success for this area.
You know, Burlington, obviously the demographics of Burlington have a lot of businesses and a lot of restaurants, but you also chose a location that I think is quite unique in that you're in the Burlington Mall, but you're not really in the Burlington Mall, right? So it gives you 2 different diners. Speak to that. I mean, was there a philosophy of choosing a certain area within Burlington?
So this opportunity came about, and Ramon saw that it had great potential because of the fact that it is attached to the mall. However, we are not accessible from within the mall. That being the case, we have great visibility being on the corner. There is accessible parking.
Do you find that people frequent all of your restaurants, like they kind of go through all of them? Because I'm going to do that now. Yeah.
That is 100% the case.
Are the menus the same?
Menus are the same, price point is the same, and I would say the first month that we were open, probably half of the clientele that was coming through here was coming through from other restaurants to check us out for the first time. Business really expanded organically through TikTok videos, amongst other social media sites. All of a sudden, our demographic has changed to a certain extent in this place.
So you have the ability to have longer tables, and it could be tables for 2, it could be a larger party coming in to sit down, and then you have the single dining at the bar. And the bar is great because when you're coming in, that's really your focal point from the front door.
Right. And the bar is beautiful, courtside. We have a great crew here. Bartenders are fantastic. Yeah. One of the things that we focus on here at Fiorella's is hiring nice and building a quality culture here of the front of the house and back of the house employees. Everybody gets along extraordinarily well. We really enjoy working here, and that's a huge part of who we are.
Seth, speak to that because I think it's huge. The restaurant business is not an easy business, and it is not an easy business to find workforce in, correct? So that is something that the culture really matters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hiring, especially since COVID time, has not been easy.
Yes.
We were very fortunate in opening here. We had a couple of months to kind of vet our front of the house and back of the house employees. And at the end of the day, experience does matter to a certain extent. But hiring genuinely nice people is really what's going to provide the experience to the guest.
And then talk about the menu and honestly, even your drink menu, because they're unique. I mean, it's Italian food, absolutely, but they're unique pieces. Who works on that?
So Nick Mace and the owner, Ramon Carrion, culinary influences, so to speak. We are not reinventing the wheel with our cuisine. We are a chicken parmesan restaurant, lemon chicken. We do have the scallops limoncello as well. That is a little bit more on the unique side. Flakes,
Had it before.
you-
Outstanding.
You have a little bit of sweet and spicy combination there.
So obviously the menu is huge and there's all these great things. But talk about the drink menu as well, because that has its own unique flavor.
Certainly does. John Gallagher is the director of operations for us, and Bridget Sanchez is a manager in Concord. However, she was a bartender when Concord first opened, so she's been with the company for 7 years, and she has a great influence within the cocktail development program of Fiorella's, an incredible palate. She is so motivated that she will go home, create batches at home, put flavor profiles together at home, and bring them in for us to experiment with, and that is essentially the baseline of where our cocktail development starts from.
And I love talking about that because I think people just assume a bar is a bar is a bar, but that's not really the case. If you want to see some unique things, then you start to kind of bounce around and see, and you really see it at Fiorella's, don't you think?
We do really see it, and since I came into the restaurant business, the bar scene has changed quite a bit, from going from a classic martini and madras and things of that nature to fresh fruits, tea, reductions, brushes. The development of cocktails has come such a long way, and it's only developing more and more. So it's really exciting to be a part of that and to challenge our bartenders to come up with their own creations as specials, which have been wonderfully received by our clientele.
Can people actually order catering? Can they get catering from Fiorella's?
Yes, we do take out catering. We offer both half trays and full trays that will be boxed and ready to go for you. We can prepare them hot or cold. A half tray would be 5 full portions of our food. A full tray would be 10 portions.
They could also then take it home and put it into the oven, which is fantastic. They can pretend they made it.
Exactly.
Their secret's safe with us if they want to put it in a plate and say they made it. Right? But, oh, I love that. Okay, so there are options. Fantastic. And I always ask people this, what's your favorite thing on the menu?
I am a bolognese fan, so I would have to go with the Garganelli bolognese. Wonderful pork, beef, and veal combination.
Perfect.
And tell us what you're making for us today.
This is one of our signature dishes, the lemon chicken. So we start with 7 medallions of all-natural chicken breasts, sear it on medium to high heat in oil.
You know, no matter what is served, I think people always love good chicken dishes. Do you find that to be true?
Yeah, very true.
So while you're making that, I understand you guys also have a marinara sauce that you guys jar. People can pick it up from the restaurant directly. It's great.
Throughout Massachusetts, and we have 4 different sauces. We have our tomato basil, our marinara. We just came out the pizza sauce, since at-home pizza is so popular.
Yeah.
And then we have our Fra Diavolo, which is my favorite. There's a little extra spice.
Speaking of pizza, you have a great pizza oven here, so people can come in and get pizza here. They can take it out and they can bring it here, and they can eat it in-house, rather.
Yeah, yep. We do pizza. Flatbreads are far more popular at the Cucina concept.
Yep.
Add a little bit of white wine. Oh yeah, flatbreads are very popular as a starter for most of our guests in-house.
Yep. Well, I think what's nice is people get used to the fact that they can actually come to a restaurant like this and get takeout.
Yeah, of course. All right, so we have white wine, chicken stock, our sauteed chicken, and then a similar, like a velouté base that we use. We'll let that reduce.
Talk pasta with me for a minute. I always ask people this. How long do you cook pasta for? It's the biggest question to ask a chef. What's the number?
It's always, every pasta is different.
Yeah.
Every one of our kitchens is different. So timing is tough because it's it might take 7 minutes to boil water here. It might take 14 in another location.
Got it.
We just try to teach our staff what al dente is.
Yes.
And the doneness that we want it pulled at. And we go from there.
Got it. Is there gluten-free pasta at Fiorella's?
Yeah, we offer a gluten-free ziti.
Right.
Really nice, super popular for all of our guests that are looking for a gluten-free option. Plate.
That's beautiful. So it has olives and artichokes in it. Did I see that right?
Yeah, artichoke hearts, really tender. They cook down with the lemon juice, and then Kalamata olives and the chicken. Very simple dish, but easily one of our top 3 sellers at all locations.
We hope you enjoyed today's Chamber Spotlight as much as we enjoyed being here. If you haven't come into Fiorella's yet, I urge you to take a look. Whether you're shopping and want to come in or whether you're coming straight here for a delicious meal with friends and families, you will not be disappointed. For Chamber Spotlight, I'm Sonia Rollins.
All right, we're back. So that was fantastic. You know, I was saying to someone when we went into there, you step into Fiorella's and it's like you're in a whole different environment. It must be so fun for you to see things like that when you're walking in and seeing all of these stores develop or the restaurants develop.
It really is. Honestly, it's one of my favorite things because I love the whole design of it all and to see how each space can become something completely different from the next.
Yeah, the food is not only good there, but the actual space is impressive. So let's go into that a little bit because that's not the only new thing that happened in the mall. Talk about some of the newer stores. You mentioned on it briefly before we went to the foodie segment. What are some of the newer things that are coming that maybe people either don't know about or haven't seen yet because they haven't been there recently?
I'll say the two most recent, like I said, they opened on November 8th.
Yep.
Are Aritzia, which is a really popular store among Gen Z. Beautiful women's clothing, wear to work or wear out. They have this wonderful puffer jacket that everybody's looking to get for the winter.
Really?
And then Vineyard Vines just before the gift giving season. So there's definitely something for everything in Vineyard Vines. It's
Yes.
quintessential New England. So we're really, really excited about those two. Fiorella's, of course, was our most recent restaurant opening.
Yes.
And then we also have Marc Jacobs coming, hopefully before the holidays. So
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And it really is something for everybody, which is fantastic. So you've mentioned the holidays and they're coming. I can't believe
Sure
it.
are.
Even though it's really warm out still, we are coming into holiday season. So let's talk holidays because it's a big time to be going into the Burlington Mall during the holiday season. What's going on there?
So Santa has arrived, and I think it's.
Did he arrive?
He did.
Oh, I love that.
He arrived yesterday.
Okay,
so
good.
Today's his first weekend there, and I think we have a lot of different events around Santa Claus. We have pet photos. We have Caring Santa. We have one called Baby's First Christmas, where parents can come early in the morning with their little ones for their first Christmas. And it's a little bit more subdued and relaxed than waiting in line because we know little babies. You never know when when they're going to cooperate or not.
Yeah.
But I think the cool thing is, a lot of our customers have been customers for a long time. Their parents have been customers. So there's so many positive holiday memories associated with the mall around Christmas time too, or the
Yes.
holidays. And Santa Claus himself. So it's just
Which,
so
by the
fun.
way, for the record, one of the best Santas. Honestly, the Burlington Mall nails it every year. The Santa is like,
Santa.
cover the baby's ears.
I was
But
gonna say, this-
the Santa there is Santa, but he's good looking too. Yeah, so
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We he's amazing. And like I said, I remember my friends going to Burlington Mall and myself going to Burlington Mall to have my picture taken with Santa.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see it full circle, and it's almost, you can go out there at any time of day and watch the kids interact, and it's so magical.
Yeah.
We have a wonderful, brand new, couple years old, but it feels brand new, Winter Wonder Lights area. So you walk through this beautiful, lit up, I guess you could call it like a mini forest.
Yeah. Is that by Santa?
It's where he
Okay.
sits now. So,
Yeah.
it's kind of an experience. There's smells, like Christmassy smells, holiday smells, and sounds that go with it too. So it's almost like a full sensory experience. It's really neat.
You want to give people watching the secret tip to getting in and being able to not stand in a super long line?
Yes.
Okay, tell me.
You can make reservations to see Santa
Really?
Claus.
Okay.
If you go to our website, it's at shopburlingtonmall.com. It's always called out there. I strongly recommend booking your time in advance if you can.
Is that new?
We've been doing it for quite a few years,
Okay,
actually.
I'm old
But I
because my
feel
kids are older, so that's I don't know that. We used to stand in line, bring snacks, and hope that they didn't look messy by the time they got to the front.
Right, people are definitely catching on, and I would say honestly, the weeknights too. If you don't have the time for that, or if you don't want to plan ahead, if you're kind of like I'm less of a planner when it comes to my kids and then getting pictures done. Weeknights are always a good time. It's usually a little bit quieter, after dinner time, if you can get them in there at that time of night and it's not too late.
So that's it. It's Christmas at the mall now, or
It's
holiday
Christmas.
season
Yeah,
at
it's
the
a
mall.
holiday season. We're ready.
And it flips like that.
Sure does. Right
So-
after Halloween.
Right after Halloween. So let's talk about the logistics for the mall for that, because I'm always impressed with that. It's kind of like if you've ever been to Disney World, how, it's New Year's Eve every night, then you wake up in the morning, everything is clean, right? So I feel like you walk into the mall one day and everything is holiday. So how does that happen? When does that happen?
We have a wonderful vendor with a wonderful team of people, and they've been doing this for quite some time. So they're organized, and they work extremely hard and extremely fast. And yeah, it takes a couple of nights to get the full decor put in, but the Santa set usually goes up in one evening. We come in and we spread some snow afterwards, but they do a lot of the hard work, so we're very grateful for them.
It's amazing.
But it is really cool to see.
And Santa is there until right before Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, yeah.
Because then he's busy.
Then he has to deliver his presents. So
Right.
he leaves at about 6 o'clock on Christmas Eve, and he flies back up to the North Pole for his big night.
There you go. You'll go extended hours for the holiday season.
Yeah, let's talk about, we can go there.
Okay,
right.
so you are going to that, but I love that you said that because I should have asked you this before. So this is not your first mall.
It actually was my first mall. So
Okay.
I started as an intern at Burlington back in, I'm going to age myself, 2005,
Yeah.
I think it was.
Okay, fair.
And I worked here as a marketing assistant for a couple of years. So I was here during the infamous filming of Mall Cop and adding Nordstrom.
Yes.
And then I've worked for a number of different Simon malls throughout the season. Throughout the years, most recently North Shore Mall in Peabody, for the past 12 or so years.
Yes.
And I'm just really excited to come back. All of the malls I've worked at, I've been very lucky where I shopped all of them when I was younger, but Burlington kind of feels like home to me. So,
Yeah. Do they differ, Lauren?
They do. They're all different. They all kind of, they have just different layouts, different clientele for sure. It's really interesting to see how kind of super local the different malls are and how the clientele changes, but they do really all differ.
And Simon's properties, so when they look at that, I mean, do they mean them to differ? And this isn't a trick question, I'm asking an honest question. Like, do they look at them and say this one has this and this one has that? Or do you think it's because of the demographics and the clientele that kind of ties in the stores?
I think it really depends on like the location in terms of, what retails in the area. There are so many factors that go into how different malls are leased and whatnot, but it would be really hard to kind of try to quantify all of that in one answer.
Yeah. But you find that, I mean, obviously they're very different. So if people want to get that feeling of like, I'm going to go somewhere different, they can pop into a different mall and they'll get a totally different feel.
I think most people shop malls for the stores they're looking to go to, so it's really nice in this area where you can kind of cross shop. I mean, Burlington has most of the stores you would be looking for, but we live kind of close enough to other Simon malls that it's pretty easy to find what store you might be looking for within, a 20-minute drive from here.
If you could give somebody like a elevator pitch, a one-liner on like, you got to do Burlington Mall because, what would that be?
I mean, we have 185 stores, and there truly, I'm not just saying this, there truly is something for everybody.
Yeah.
Looking at the categories, looking at the restaurants, and looking at the entertainment, I think everybody can find something they would want or need, especially during the gift giving season. You can get all of your holiday gifts from mom, dad, kids, friends. There's something for everyone, all in one place.
There is something for everyone. I'm going to be the poster child to tell you this. My big joke was I could shop Christmas in one day if I could hold my credit card in my hand and just walk through the mall from front to end, and I could do it. It wasn't pretty. There were some ugly moments. I was tired, but I could get it done if I needed to.
I've come close to doing that myself. I'm not proud to say it
No,
because
but
I'm there every day. But
I
sometimes
love
it takes a day off. Yeah.
I love it. All right, so Lauren, thank you so much for joining us. Burlington Mall, folks, we know this by the name of the street on Burlington Mall Road. It is located at the end. It's certainly an anchor for the community. We thank you for being involved with everything all the time. If you haven't been there recently, you got to go. It's a whole different ballgame than what it used to be. And we'll tell everybody the website again.
ShopBurlingtonMall.com.
ShopBurlingtonMall.com. Go on there, check out what stores there are, but more importantly, check on what's going on the outside spaces. Make a reservation with Santa. I mean, that was, I think, the biggest tidbit of today.
For sure.
And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you.
by the way.
This is great.
Everybody, we are looking forward to the holiday season. I hope you have a fantastic holiday season with you and your family, everybody together. And remember, the kindness matters. For Back Talk, I'm Sonia Rollins.